Hello, guys. Welcome to the FPL Manual podcast show with your host Wale. Yes. Finally, we have migrated. We have moved on to be doing video podcasts, and yes, this is very first episode for our video podcast. And yes, the team is just around Champions League Fantasy, and I thought I would do this video now, so you get to see my face more, you get more familiar with my face going forward. So this is the FPL Manual podcast show, and my name is Adewale Adesina, and I'll be discussing about the group stages, the group draws, UCL Draw that was done recently on Thursday the 30th, I think it's 30th, right? 31st of August. Well, we saw some interesting groups, especially Group F, the one that has the big clash of PSG, Dortmund, Newcastle and Milan. So I'm just going to react to that quickly and switch to my desktop, showing you the potential top 3 players from each of the teams from my list of top 2 teams I feel will qualify to the next round. More emphasis on on Group 7 because of how teams will pan out differently in that group. So thank you for staying tuned. Yes, I plan not to spend too much time because I've done this before and I spent close to 20 plus minutes. So I don't want to do that again. I'm going to make sure this is short as possible and hit the nail on the head. Thank you for staying tuned, and let's get into the video real quick. Okay. So at the time of recording, the time is 9:20 p.m. West African time here in Nigeria. Yes, West African time here in Abuja, Nigeria. And this is how my team looks so far. I've not tinkered or done anything much. So let's quickly look at what the players I'm considering from each of the team. First of all, we need to see our Champions League groups and react to them one by one. So quickly, I've opened to the Champions League page, and here we are. So quickly looking at this, we can tell that is a very tough draw. But let's just start quickly. Group A, we have Bayern, Manchester United, Copenhagen and Galatasaray. So if I'm looking at my top assets there for Bayern, it will be that of Harry Kane, the obvious 10 million man. Harry Kane 10 million, Leroy Sané 9.5 million, and probably one of the defenders, Alphonso Davies. So let's go quickly to the website and check from Bayern players. So you can see Harry Kane is priced at 10 million, ownership of about 25% as of the time of recording. Leroy Sané 7%, priced at 9 million instead. Then moving on to Alphonso Davies, price at 6 million. So those are my top 3 assets. Going back to the draws there, Manchester United are also one of the teams that are returning back to Champions League this year, and they will release their chances of going further into the competition. Who are their top assets here? Top 3 assets: Marcus Rashford, priced at 10 million. His current ownership is at 3%. One of those players I'm looking forward to having, probably based on their features or who they face first. Bruno Fernandes also there on penalties for Manchester United, priced at 9.5 million. That is ownership 6%. They look like differential options, but the biggest differential here is probably Rasmus Højlund, priced at 7 million, 3%. The 6'4" tall striker is going to get more involved for the manager after returning from injury, and probably feature in the weekend game which they play tomorrow. That's Sunday. Tomorrow, yeah. So that is that about Group A. I'm going to ignore most of Copenhagen and Galatasaray assets. However, just to touch on Galatasaray, we have some interesting options. Like I just realized of late that Icardi is a Galatasaray striker. Yes, priced at 9 million. He is very, very much overpriced. He's very, very much overpriced. I don't see the reason why Icardi is priced at 9 million. I probably won't consider him I don't think anyone should consider him because you could get other players for far less price. So that's that about Group A. Moving on to Group B. We have Group B, Sevilla, Arsenal, PSV, and FC Lens. Now, this is kind of a tough group, but a lot of fans will view it as an easier group, but I don't think so. But nonetheless, that's my thought on that. Moving on to the fantasy side of it, let's see who are the players we should consider for our teams. So for Arsenal, we have the likes of Bukayo Saka, priced at 9.5 million, which is quite pricey. 9.5 million, Bukayo Saka. We have Odegaard and Gabriel Jesus, priced at 8.5 million with 6% ownership and 2% ownership. So watch and see, because I'm not sure what Arsenal are offering at the moment. Probably after the game tomorrow, we'll see more of their strikers or their team gel together with the new style that Arteta is playing. However, I feel probably Saka is the one we want to have in our teams going forward for Arsenal. So Sevilla, quickly, let's go to Sevilla and check out their assets. Let's check out their assets quickly. So for Sevilla, Enesri is one of the players there at 8.5 million, far lesser than Icardi, Rafa Mir, or Campos, probably Bono, who is the goalie. Let me go to the keeper. I think this is the top 3 assets I'll consider. Bono, kind of overpriced on 6 million. Why would Bono be 6 million? Like, what is the reason? Why is it 6 million? Bono used to be 5 million or for less than that, but here we are, Bono 6 million. So those are the top 3 assets for the Group B Sevilla's team. I need to do more research on some other teams like PSV and Lens. I've not really done a lot of research for them, but I will get back to you guys on Twitter if you follow me at the FPL Manual to see more of this on that. So let's go to Group C. We have Napoli and Real Madrid, Braga and Union Berlin. Obviously, from the looks of it, you can tell that Real Madrid and Napoli will be the top 2, either one of them finishing above the other. So let's go to our Napoli assets. Napoli. Looking at our Napoli assets, we have Mr. Osimhen up front, going to be the expensive one there. 10 million, less than 11% ownership. That's 10% ownership currently. Looking like a nice differential. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Napoli are currently playing at the moment. But kind of losing to Lazio on a 2-1. Not a nice score, but you can see it's going to be a tough game in that group. The likes of Anderson, Felipe Anderson, Zielinski. So let's move back to our talks here. So top 3 assets: Osimhen, 10 million. Midfield, I will go with Varashila, obviously, or Varadona, as everyone calls him now, for 9.5 million. Currently has an ownership of 12%. And for their defense, I'll probably go with the man of last season who did very well, Di Lorenzo. Also other differentials like we saw Zielinski score. Zielinski, who could be considered. Okay, then for Real Madrid have a very interesting setup because we have, let me start from the big man himself, Jude Bellingham, who signed for about 100 plus million for Madrid. He still scored a goal today against in the La Liga, and his ownership is one of the highest after Haaland, if I'm not mistaken. It's 67% ownership and priced at 7.5 million. So that's one of the major players we want to get next season. For the forwards, Rodrigo is classified as a forward this year and quite a cheap asset. I think I'd rather take Rodrigo at 9 million. I'd rather take Rodrigo at 9 million than get Icardi, because why is Icardi priced at 9 million? You understand? And Rodrigo has 8% ownership, so it looks like one we could consider. Joselu is kind of playing in place of injured Vinicius Jr., so he could be a differential going forward. It depends. Well, we have to get more updates to know if Vinicius, who is 11 million, for some reason now we forward in the game. His price will be available because he's injured currently, and we'll get more information to know if he will be available. If he's not available, then UCL is going to be a nice differential to start with. Then defense, nothing really changed. It's the same old Real Madrid defense of Cavaya, Rudiger, Alaba, and the rest. Probably differential here, or one we'll look out for is Kepa, who is the starting goalkeeper as of now till the season ends with Courtois injured. So that's that about Real Madrid. Moving on, as I said, I want to make this quick, so I'm a little bit in a rush. Apologies. Group D is one of my most interesting groups because it's kind of levels out purely on their difficulty level. So we have Benfica, one of the best teams in the Liga. You understand? In Portuguese league, and if I'm not mistaken, this is currently them playing Victoria FC, and they are winning 3-0. Top players here you can see here is already Di Maria, Mario, Rafael Silva, Coco scored a goal. Di Maria has a goal also and an assist, Rafael Silva. And the most interesting player here is this guy, Samuel Yoare. So let's go to Benfica. Scroll Benfica quickly. Benfica, Samuel Suarez. So this guy is basically one of their... I need to see myself doing this one. So this guy is basically one of their youth keepers. Came through the ranks, and with the sale of Vachudimos, that is Odysseus Vachudimos, who is now a Forest goalkeeper, it's been this guy Samuel Suarez that has played the last 3 games for them. And we know it's always difficult to find a 4 million goalkeeper, but however, we are in luck this year to see Samuel Suarez of Benfica, a regular starter, and I think he has kept a clean sheet or 2. This is going to be the 7th clean sheet if they can, hold their own against this particular team they are playing. So yes, so this is how Benfica team looks at the moment with Otamendi, Antonio Silva, and Alexander Ba. So let's look at them from a fantasy perspective. So let's go to defense. No cheap defender like before. I mean, they're all cheap per se, but the main guys like Antonio Silva and Otamendi are priced at 5 million. Ba is priced at 5 million. So it's still a nice group of selection. Moving on to the middle, we have Di Maria, who I will most likely be having. Di Maria has been on top-notch form. Wait, Di Maria is not here? My God, they put him as a forward. Oh, come on. This is unfair. So many good assets, but not classified in the correct position. For example, the only forward here is actually Peter Musa. Peter Musa is the only forward as an actual forward in the game, like in the real game of things. Di Maria is a midfielder. David Neres is his backup. Rafa Silva is playing as a shadow striker behind the striker. It is what it is. So maybe by the time we see the fixtures, we'll know who will select among them. But Di Maria is the go-to guy for now. It's going to be difficult having the particular right set of forwards because of how there's so many forwards. There's Haaland, there's Kane, there's Osimhen, there's Rafael Leao, there's Giroud. The list goes on. Now we still have Di Maria and the rest. So it's interesting to know. So moving on, in that same group, there was Inter I also saw, and those guys are another team I see going forward or finishing at least second or first in that group. So let me quickly scroll to Inter Milan. And let's start with their forwards. Lautaro Martinez is the go-to guy here, priced at 9 million with the likes of Rodrigo and Icardi. He has a percentage of 6% as ownership. For the midfield, not a lot of midfielders that score points here, but Hakan on set pieces should be one to look out for, probably going into the game. He's lesser than other midfielders I have seen so far, even 0.5 away from Jude Bellingham. Then for defense, Di Marchio had a very, very awesome season last year. So yes, he still has a very low ownership of 10%. percent. Now he's not as priced as low as 4.5, but you still want to consider with the likes of Pavard, who just joined from Bayern. Who'll be very instrumental for them also. So then there's no Onana, but Jan Sommer, 12.5 goalie. Oof. I think I already have my 2 keepers. Let me just make that change now. Sommer is going to be the next keeper. Yeah, so I think I have my 2 keepers with Jan Sommer and Suarez. It just makes sense. It just makes more sense. That is on the cheap side. So as I said, I'm going to touch only 2 teams and move on. Salzburg, Real Sociedad. More information to come by the time I do my research and post on Twitter as threads. Moving on to Group E, Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Lazio, Celtic. So it's a mixed bag. We are not really sure who's going to finish on top. So what I'm going to do is just run through the teams I see going for example Lazio. So let's go to Lazio. The man up front, who is still the main striker for them for a few years now, has been Ciro Immobile, priced at 7.5 million. What a price that is. Quite cheap. However, the person doing bits in the middle has to be Felipe Anderson. Felipe Anderson is fairly priced, 6.5 million. Oof, I feel like I almost start with him. In defense, we have other players like Lazari, Misaj, Marasuk. I'm not really sure who is the star player here, but research will come in later. Then their goalie, it's Adamosnis. Let me quickly check who is starting for them in goal. Who is starting for Lazio in goal? Let's see, Lazio. This game is still almost done. Lazio. Provedel, 5 million. Okay, that's the main goalie there. So you have your main Lazio assets. Then Group E, probably Atletico Madrid. Let's go and touch Atletico Madrid and just move on to other groups. I've not gone to Man City. I've not gone to Bayern yet. I've not gone to Group F. So quickly just going to skim through. What's the name again? Celtic, Atletico Madrid. Yes, Atletico Madrid, that is it. So for Atletico Madrid, we have for the forwards, Memphis Depay is going to be that guy I mostly want to have at some point, maybe based on who they face on the 19th of September. The other forwards, probably Griezmann. Yeah, Felix is no more an Atletico Madrid player. He's in Barcelona now, so it will be updated soon. Then for the midfield, I'm not sure if Jan Carrasco is here. Yes. And defense, let's just go to the goalie. It's going to be probably Jan Oblak, priced at 6 million. He's a premium goalkeeper again. Let's see how Group E does well with the likes of Atletico Madrid, Celtic, the likes of Lazio, and Feyenoord. So moving on to Group F, finally. The group I've been waiting to talk about, and I'll spend about a few minutes more here because I'm going to probably touch on all the teams, or not the teams and the top players to consider, because anyone here can finish either first or second or third or last. So I'm going to take my time here and just walk through this. So back to the game. So we have, let's go, just touch on all of them. So we have PSG, yes. First of all, I think it's fair to know that Kylian Mbappe is still their star player, even though they have some issues. He scored a brace today, and this is the highest priced striker. So will I go for Mbappe? Maybe, but I don't think so based on this price tag, because it just doesn't make sense. I will save myself 1.5 million for the likes of Kane, for the likes of Osimhen, for the likes of, basically I'm getting Haaland at this price, so I don't know. So, but it might be what it's never say never. Goncalo Ramos is also a new forward signed, and Kolo Muani, who is not in the game yet, will be added soon. Dembele is priced at 8 million, but unfortunately he's a forward in the game, so I'm not sure a lot of us will consider him. However, I'm not interested in their defense, where the likes of Ashraf Hakimi, priced at 6 million, would be one of those go-to players later down the competition. Then Luca Hernandez, the brother of Theo Hernandez, also a regular starter. then probably in goal Donnarumma is the one I'll look at to have him. Maybe if their game turn easier. So moving on, we have Dortmund. Yes, Dortmund. Let's go. So for Dortmund, I've not really skimmed through Dortmund, but now that we're here, let's just look at it. Karim Adeyemi, Sebastian Haller. Yes, Sebastian Haller is the go-to forward here. He's the one that starts regularly for them. Either him or Malin, probably, if I'm ever going to consider a Dortmund asset. Then the middle, we have Julian Brandt, Marcus Royce. Not a lot of Dortmund assets I will consider. So those are the players. Newcastle though. Newcastle are the team that I feel like are going to be the dark horses in the Champions League. But never say never. They just considered 3-0 to Brighton. Where Evan Ferguson rather scored a hat-trick. So I don't know if the form of last season is no more getting in. They're in Europe now, so it's going to be tough. Nonetheless, let's go to our Champions League perspective. Let's see for the forwards. How much is Isak priced? Isak is priced at 7.5. Fair to the creators of the game, just price two of them at the same price, because at any point Eddie Howe can call on them, any of them, to be the main 9. So Tonali is going to be one of the cheapest players here. Now, fortunately for us in Champions League Fantasy, there's room for the DMs to get more points in terms of interceptions, in terms of tackles, in terms of ball recoveries. And Tonali is one of those players that will definitely get you ball recoveries, no matter the score. Whether Newcastle are losing 5-0 or they are winning 5-0, it doesn't matter. Tonali would surely get little 2, 3, 4 points, probably 5 points usually for the work he does. So yes, he's going to be one of those players. So Tonali, then in the defense, it will go to Trippier, who is on set pieces, priced at 6 million. To be honest, I'm disappointed. I expected Tonali to be priced at 5.5 based on, how will I say it, Newcastle just coming back for the first time in about almost 30 years to the Champions League. This is not a fair pricing whatsoever, but it is what it is. Probably they consider the set piece advantage, and they just gave him that extra 0.5. So that's that about that. Moving on to the last team there, talked on Dortmund, PSG, and Milan. Oh, Milan. How will I skip Milan? AC Milan is one of my favorite teams, especially from last season. So let's quickly look at that. For the forwards, Leao is still forward, unfortunately, and he's priced at 9.5. Too bad, because I actually want to have Leao in my team. However, the main differential here is Olivier Giroud, who is on penalties. Finished with a total of 50 points last season, and currently with 4% ownership, he's the one I will probably start it. So it's going to be probably Giroud and Kane or Haaland or something like that. In the midfield, we have a few new signings that joined, and one of the ones that are regularly playing now is Pulisic. Pulisic is fairly priced and priced at 7 million. It could be a strong differential. Loftus-Cheek is also starting regularly for Milan of late years. So the Chelsea former players are doing well. In defense, we have Tomori priced at 5.5 million. We have Theo Hernandez, brother of Luca Hernandez, one of the most highest owned Milan assets right now. 31% ownership and price at 6.5. But the most interesting player here is going to be the goalie, Magnum. Unfortunately, he's now one of the premium goalkeepers, but his save points and penalty shot stoppage is one to never overlook. So those are the top players I'll consider in Milan. Looking very stressed and tired, but let's finish this quickly. Group G is very easy peasy, so I won't spend too much time here. I'll just quickly just say it from the top of my head. Erling Haaland, top player. Phil Foden, top player. Ederson, expected minutes, top player. You need to have him in your team. Leipzig, Xavi Simon, Dani Olmo. Who else? Paulson. I'm not sure. He doesn't score a lot of goals, but yes, Then for the last set of teams, the young boys, I'm not sure. I will do research. Werner, Sender, I think not pronounce it. They will also come out probably third or fourth with young boys. So those are the assets there. Then Group H, Barcelona. There's a new player that came to the stage for Barcelona, but unfortunately, I've not seen his name in the game. I've not seen his name in the game. Barcelona. Yes, he's not been added. Lasmin Yamal. I've checked severally. I've not seen his name in the game. I hope he's going to be a midfielder because this game can be very weird sometimes. But let's just look at what we have here. For the forwards, Rafinha, Fernando Torres, and Lewandowski. Now, Lewandowski is going to obviously be the go-to man, but it seems like if I want to consider differentials, probably I might consider Torres in the future. Who knows? In the middle, the likes of Pedri, the likes of Gavi. Gavi 6.5, Pedri 7 million. Ilkay Gundogan, yes, definitely Ilkay Gundogan at 8 million. Then defense, Barca don't really have a strong defense per se, but Araujo at 5.5 million. Balde for some reason is 6 million. I'm not sure why. It was about 4.5 last year. So there you have it. Those are the main players. I'm just going to ignore the goalie, but in case you want to know, Stegen is still the main goalie there to start for Barcelona. Then last team to touch on here based on potential is going to be Porto. And let's go to Porto quickly. I've not really researched on this team, but I know for sure that Taremi, Porto, yes. Taremi is still the main striker for now. He planned on leaving in the window, but unfortunately could not get that move, and his price at 8 million. Very nice asset. Was on penalties last season. I'm not sure he's the one I'll go for now, but he's one player I was looking forward to having if his price was lesser than now. And for the midfield, Otaivo, then there's this ex-Stakio, who is also one of their main star players. Then for defense, let's quickly look at that. There's another, this Joao Mario also in defense, used to play regularly. Zaidu Sanusi of Nigeria is also there. Pepe, I'm not sure if Pepe is still a regular player, but I will do my research on that. Then goalie, definitely Diogo Costa, but it's quite highly priced now. Last season really enjoyed all these guys. So that's that. That's going to be my reaction, to this. So those are the top assets from each top teams, not all the teams, from each top teams I see going forward in the group stages. So nice to meet you guys once more. I'm going to edit this later, so post it maybe on Monday. So if you want to see more of this, I'll probably be doing more videos concerning statistics of each of this team across the first 4 game weeks, because we have reached a point where at least a few teams have played 4 games in the Premier League and some other leagues. Bundesliga would have played at least 3 games plus the Super Cup, the league games, the cup games. So I'll do a little bit of statistics. Probably XG will be needed. I can't promise there'll be a lot of XG information, but I'll do as much as possible to compile this and bring to you. Yeah, that's about that. You want to follow me? Follow me at social media at the FPL Manual on Twitter and Instagram. And what else? Stay tuned for more. Like, share, and subscribe. We're on YouTube now. Like, share, and subscribe, and share to other Champions League managers. So, what's the general takeaway from this? Buy Samuel Suarez. It's 4 million. It's 4 million. Kind of goalkeeper is a 4 million goalkeeper for perfect price. Buy him. If you don't buy him. So thank you for staying here with me. All right.